All right, guys, second attempt at finalizing game 2. We'll see exactly what we can get done. Actually, our fault, I guess, on setting up the lobby. This is
You
what
can be
happens when...
honest. It's my fault. You don't have to
Okay,
take the
this
blame with me.
this is what happens when you let a certain prove attitude set up lobbies, and she's never set up lobbies
This is
before.
why I'm camera. I don't do management. I do
It's
camera.
it's like the first time I have ever actually you've had the admin ticket over me, weirdly
Yeah,
enough.
this is weird. This is
This is a
definitely not
big deal.
normal. Yeah.
It's like a
I was very
defining moment.
nervous. Actually at work today I wrote down a like pre-cast checklist. So I have like 20 things up there that I have to remember to do before I cast because the last few
Such a
casts I
girl.
always forget something. So I'm like I'm going to write everything down. So I
You're
have
such a
everything
girl.
written down. But I didn't know the rules, so I didn't know the whole first pick issue. So it's settled now.
Now we had to remake
Yeah.
and ruin my hopes and dreams of seeing Ember Spirit. Thanks, Prove.
I'm so sorry.
Hashtag thanks, Prove.
Everybody can blame me. I accept full responsibility for this. Luckily, the teams were nice and cool. They're super sweet about it. So we weren't set back too much. But we aren't gonna see Ember. I don't know if he was gonna get picked up. He might have been. So I'm sorry if I dashed everybody's hopes of seeing Ember.
Timber saw the last one who was banned out the last time around, and we'll see if he makes it through the first half of the banning phase here. If he does, we'll see if he actually gets picked up. Instead, Nyx Assassin is banned away, as Ryan Noob did a fairly effective job actually in a 2-roll, which was solo in the off lane. So Ancient Apparition picked up immediately as we thought would happen. Therefore, Vas'Avi afforded the chance either or of responding to it. They managed to get around it the last time around, and hopefully top 5 just has a better setup. It was not really favorable to give AA the opportunity to capitalize, but Shanks will not be getting Nature's Prophet, and Carson will be awarded round 2 on Batrider. So much of the same, but shuffles going on in the first half of the picks. This is kind of an exciting combination. Batrider is an interesting synergy with Nature's Prophet. Although he's able to grab onto people and throw them into bad situations and Nature's Prophet can show up, he's also, with the Firefly, a detriment if he takes down particular trees in Sprout that were once trapping heroes in. So much harder for Prophet to use those trees to their full effectiveness in the middle of a fight, with Carson kind of zooming around there. And man, that guy last game, 16 minutes in, was the difference maker.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see because Carson did get his Blink Dagger farmed up pretty early in the game, but there wasn't just any good opportunities for him to use it. There weren't any like really solid team fights out of them in the earlier parts of the game, but later on he definitely made up for it. He made some really big plays for his team and was one of the elements in helping Vas'Avi to win. But I think the real leader there in that whole game was just Lycus. He farmed so well throughout the whole game, and he had the items to show for it, and really decent with the Naga initiations and disengaging with it too. There was a few iffy ones that we were concerned about, like the Rowan at the Roshan pit, but it wasn't that detrimental that they could lose the game from it. So they definitely made up for their shortcomings in just those instances. Vengeful Spirit is picked up now, and last game Vengeful Spirit was banned out after the Batrider was picked up, and it was banned out by the same team as the Batrider. And the reason being for that is that if you get in there with Batrider, you pull somebody out, Vengeful Spirit will just hop in, sacrifice her own life, or maybe even have a force staff
So
to get
good.
out, and then you can save a
thank
carry.
Fnatic for that. All right, welcome to the world of Fnatic, pioneering that one straight out. To be
It's
able to
awesome.
go ahead and swap out of the lasso is huge news for
And then
top
you
5.
just lose your VS. You don't lose an important, like, really, really important
I don't
hero.
know.
Maybe not
She's
even the
kind of
carry,
important.
but
Her damage aura, I think, is very influential, provided you can keep her up in the team fight. But certainly, she can be a sacrificial lamb if need be at the end of a game. Just can be, so can be an AA after that ultimate is off and away. Very strong against Luna. They need some anti-push elements as well as some anti-gank elements, and I think Venge is the hard counter for that. So top 5 still needs mid, as the jungle should get taken up by Batrider once again. Nature's Prophet in the off lane, therefore Luna farms out the safe lane. Vas'Avi needing a 5 roll as well as an additional mid. So let's see what exactly happens there. I actually referenced earlier, I said that Nyx was a 2 roll. I meant a 3 roll for the off lane. I'm being a noob tonight, so sorry. At least I caught myself after as I'm referencing. It's just God, it has been so long since we've cast together. I know we had the what was it, Winter Assembly. That was fun, minus technical difficulties, but
Yeah.
other than that, we haven't cast really since the end of last year. There's been a I want to say shortage of events, or at least short of events there for everyone who was not beyond the summit. And now things are finally starting to open up again with exciting fashion coming up towards the summer, with things like ESL being back to back. You have South by Southwest going on. Right now, Morphling gets picked up, though, a carry we haven't seen in a while, and good buffs in the last patch to him, allowing him to do things such as attack in waveform and just all around. I would say a decent patch for him. So the hard support, the 5 role for Vas'Avi is Disruptor.
Yeah, Disruptor gets picked up after the Morphling pickup, and that's interesting because I feel like Disruptor is a pretty good counter to Morphling. You can silence him out so he can't get out with either waveform or his replicate, and then on top of that, if you can time your glimpse good enough, you can actually stop him from replicating away or also stop him from just waveforming away. So I think Disruptor just gives options to Vas'Avi to shut down that Morphling. But they have the Luna to go up against the Morphling. So far I think the draft is a fairly even match so far. But there still are 3 more picks to come out here. It's going to be interesting to see the last few bans here. We are still looking for a mid for Vas'Avi. Potentially, I mean, Batrider does always have that option to go mid if he wanted to, instead of the jungle or instead of the offlane. So there are options for Vas'Avi, but for top 5, still looking for an offlane hero and a mid hero.
They should grab the offlane here, give themselves the additional opportunity to respond. And of course, right as I say that, they're like, no, we're going to go ahead and just grab mid. I think Storm, though, is suitable no matter what way you spin it. It just gives Vas'Avi the opportunity to at least counter him with one pick, whether or not be something like a puck remains yet to be seen. Anything really that is able to silence out Storm Spirit for a long enough amount of time that allows his death. But the way he counters what Vas'Avi is doing is the fact that he can jump at Nature's Prophet regardless of the lane he's in and create a lot of problematic situations, even shut down a Batrider who jumps in and does not have something to the effect of an early Force Staff to get himself away. So a lot of interesting things happening. I like the fact that Disruptor can still glimpse away the Storm Spirit that could potentially dive way in, but sometimes if he jumps from far enough, the damage is just too consequential to counter. So we'll see Timbersaw ban off in that off lane as he has made it through all the way and was initially banned out before the remake at this stage, and maybe top 5 not picking it out of respect or just not out of utility in synergizing in the lineup. They do need a forward element, in my opinion, other than the Morphling, and to kind of defend what the Storm Spirit is doing. If they don't get a forward element that is a strong off lane, at least, they had the last time around a Slardar who can kind of contribute in a fight, have some HP to tank through some of the AoE that will be forthcoming. They do have to worry about things like Luna Ultimate, Batrider AoE, Nature's Prophet Ultimate, initiating a fight. It wouldn't be foreign to see an off lane that can kind of stomach some of that. If it's not that, we could even potentially see someone like a Weaver with an aggressive tri-lane that the Morphling kind of inhabits, which would be, I think, an interesting turn of events. And as you were mentioning last game, Proof, Sand King surfaces as an element, and we'll see what use he makes of the jungle, as Vas'Avi, the last time around, made very good use of the jungle with CM and Batrider in there, but this time Sand King.
It's great that Sand King can jungle now pretty effectively, because before there wasn't a spot for him to farm very well, and so it took him a really long time to even get something like Mana Boots, and then even after Mana Boots, he had to get the Blink Dagger out, which he really needed. Doom is picked up now, and this is interesting. There's those 3 core heroes for top 5, and I worried that if you don't get the Morphling and the Storm Spirit farmed up enough, it's going to be scary for them. And if they get shut down early, it looks bad for their team. Morphling does need a lot of farm, but luckily for him, he does have a really good escape mechanism. 3, let's be honest here. 3 really good escape mechanisms. Yeah, he's an escape artist.
Top 5 is going to be extremely mobile, though, is my only concern for Vas'Avi. They're going to have to be very succinct in who they elect to lock out early on. As we get down to introductions, VA up 1-0 against top 5, who wasn't able to close out before about the 30-minute marker in the last game. Carson, taking up the role of Sand King, will be supporting Lycus, hard carry Luna, Scar, jungle side from the look of things, actually mid lane on the Batrider, so no jungle this time around. Flying Zebra supporting Luna on the Disruptor, with Ryan Noob again off lane, this time in the form of Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, so Carson isn't on the Batrider now. It was actually Scar now on the Batrider, which is interesting because he was a Tinker last game, who was mid game. Before we introduced the Dire, though, they're trying to make a big play happen here, and they only have really one option to run into a kill here, and that's going to be on Lycus, but I don't think they're going to be able to secure that in time. So, introductions underway. On the Dire side, we have top 5. Fly going to be playing your Storm Spirit. Symbols number 1 will be on Morphling Shanks. We'll be playing the Doombringer. Whatever is going to be AA, and Symbols number 2 on that Vengeful Spirit. Now, in all seriousness, guys, if you can read these symbols, please tell us.
Chinese, yeah,
please tell us what these names are. We would love to know, and hopefully before the next time we cast top 5, we can figure out what their actual names are, so that we're not too disrespectful.
I could probably unjoin DOTA. Actually, let me do that while you kind of get the last hits and such squared away.
So Fly is mid lane up against the Batrider. Until Storm Spirit hits level 6, it's kind of a scary lane for him, because if he gets hit by too many napalms, Batrider can easily dive on that. Storm Spirit doesn't have a high HP pool. He doesn't have any ways of getting away before level 6. So it could be a little difficult for him, and Scar is just going to have to kind of decide if there's going to be that option for him. But already 3 stacks up on Fly, so if he gets too many stacked up, he's just going to have to back off. Let it go away. It's already gone, so he's fine for the time being. Bottom lane is most likely going to be the lane to watch. We have Lycus, Disruptor, as well as Sand King here participating in this Radiant tri-lane. AA, Morphling, and Vengeful Spirit. A decent tri-lane in terms of lockdown for top 5. They have the means of making Cold Feet activate with that Vengeful Spirit bolt, and then Morphling can dish out some damage as well, and someone like a Luna can't really withstand that much damage, but at the same time they do have a Sand King stun, and then the Disruptor who can kind of fend off anything with the Ring of Death, and then on top of that Glimpse if he really needs that as well. So I think there's options there as well, but here it goes. Cold Feet initiated, but it's not going to be enough. It is going to be enough. Symbols gets in there with a waveform and does enough damage. Symbols 2 almost goes down the process, but does not. Sand King fighting for his life at this point. Pops up a Clarity to heal up his mana, make sure he has enough to stun, and he does now, but that's not a great start for VA, losing their carry right off the bat.
No, not at all. I don't think it's what they expected.
So Zane...
Yeah, Zon, DDCSRH, Fly Wrong Shanks, but unfortunately, I don't know if Lycus is under a different handle, and therefore we can't even begin to extrapolate and figure out, I guess, unless I view some Steam profiles.
All right, maybe next time, guys.
Yeah, and their profiles are private, so I'm just going to throw that out of there, so it's not like I'm able to actually go through and see what they are, and I'm not sure if it's a result of trolling us. DD picked up by Vengeful Spirit, who moves back over onto her side of the tracks, with a rotation coming out of Carson. Scar unable to attain that, and therefore Fly obtaining some much needed time to grab a bottle. 2 minutes 30 seconds in. Those last 2 creep kills should do it as he leads the way. 16-0, 11-1 is Doom in the jungle, matched only by Prophet, or excuse me, Shanks in lane. One-on-one against the Prophet, and kind of like that particular matchup. Both heroes are going to be able to attain farm, and both equally beneficial to their teams having attained that farm, I would have to say. So very equally matched in the sense that Doom can come in and cause a lot of real problems, though later in the game against someone like Lycus, I don't think that Doom is as hard of a counter. Wouldn't you agree? The fact that if Luna kind of just man fights, already has Manta off and already has the ultimate off, is it hard to say that Lucent Beam is that influential late? And I think it's not really influential late, so Doom isn't as effective and therefore will need to be spent on other heroes, whether or not it be Batrider, Prophet, will yet to be determined. With a gank now on Fly mid lane, they do manage to get it done. Scar, though, pays for his life under the tower. Ryan Noob not able to tank the tower shots for him as he was below 300 health himself.
I'm not sure how effective Doom is going to be. I don't feel like there's just an insanely good target for this Doom. I mean...
I don't think that was the intended purpose. I think the intended purpose was to say, we're just going to get someone tankier than you can specifically handle, and we're going to attempt to shut down your Luna. And that maybe isn't the worst way to go. He is too tanky for an early Luna to tank down, and Luna is a relatively late carry.
I do agree that they did need a really solid front line, and Doom does provide that. Scar, as well as Fly, trying to contest this rune. Firefly is going to do a lot of damage, but the haste is going to save the day for Fly and make it so he can at least stay in this lane and get away from that small initiation out of Scar. But no level 6 on either of these heroes, both very close, almost at the same experience. Top lane, Ryan Noob getting dove upon. Just as I say that Shanks isn't going to be that great of a hero, he just solo kills Nature's Prophet right as he hits level 6. Carson tries to help out, but unfortunately he couldn't get there in time, so Shanks is making things happen. I'm still concerned about the Doom pickup, and I hope that I can be proved wrong this game and be convinced, but I've never just been a huge fan of Doom.
I think you're going to be proved wrong. He does provide a lot of utility, and if he's managed to finish up an item like AC, you already have Vengeful to bail out anyone from the lasso, and then Doom to follow up. That's pretty substantial. I think he's just going to be more of a utilitarian, if I may dub him as such, though I think that top port kind of saved Carson from being killed as he was pulling that lane, and now an engagement happening between Disruptor, seeing Venge get away as Flying Zebra tried to trap him into place, but not able to capitalize. Again was VA, not in the best of positions, being down 3-1. Unfortunate victims of a couple of ganks, but still Fly managing to get mid lane kind of taken care of. 6 stacks on him, goes back to his tower, avoids any auto attacks because he doesn't have that high of a health pool to begin with and will need to shrug off these charges before re-engaging. So shrugs him off, and now he is back in business with top 5 looking around the tree line on bottom against Lycus, who is just sitting 9 for 1, while Morphling is 30 and 12. That is a huge difference. This tri lane certainly has been effective. The only ineffective element that they've afforded is the fact that they're not going to get as much experience all being in such close proximity and not being able to utilize the jungle like we thought they would be. Doom applied, Carson top lane, port forthcoming, Shanks, or excuse me, Ryan Noob this time around. I saying Shanks in the habit of last game, but Ryan Noob not wanting Shanks to chase off Carson, won't die from that Doom, thankfully for VA, not needing to take another death, nor could they afford it.
Lycus getting dove on this bottom lane here, but unfortunately it's just a Vengeful Spirit. Fly is there, he does have level 6, jumps on Lycus. Is he going to have enough mana to finish off the kill here? They do take down the VS in the process as Nature's Prophet gets in on that action with the ultimate coming forth.
That glimpse, that was the difference though. Again, glimpse so huge.
It's a lifesaver.
Yeah, and again, jumps in, round 2, Morphling finishes off Lycus. This time around, Zebra nowhere to turn in his tree line, goes down, double kill afforded to Morphling in top 5, seeing their advantage continue to grow as Doom topside is taken down. Vengeful in a lot of trouble. Carson and company making things happen, so they trade effectively 2 for 2 with Doom and Venge going down. Fly not wanting to let things lie is around the trees, but will not be able to follow through as both parties kind of back off from one another. So another, I guess, unfortunate circumstance there for VA that they weren't able to capitalize on a situation that they had on bottom. At least they took a carry on a carry in terms of kills, but the people you don't want to be affording kills to definitely consist of someone like a Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, and even Morphling sitting at 3 kills of his own and leading the top of the scoreboard at 43 as well. And that's scary for VA. They can't allow that Morphling to get so much farm, but at this point they can't really deal with him. They do need some more levels, and I feel like once they get the levels, they can either force team fights or do some really decent pickoffs with the Batrider once he finishes up that Blink Dagger, which will be here in about 600 gold. So it's not too far off. And once you have that, you can jump on Morphling. If he's not paying attention and doesn't get out immediately, you can lock him down long enough, potentially that Luna can do enough damage to actually pick him off before he can replicate out of there. But you still have to be concerned with the morph strength because that will help to keep him alive during a gank on him.
It's almost a confusing lineup that I would say VA has. They have the ability to counter a lot of initiation, but their only ability to initiate is going to be someone like Scar, who has just gotten doomed out topside, goes down. Looks like Fly going to obtain the last hit, but instead Doom ticks are enough to bring him down. So last hit afforded again to Doom. Shanks on a tear as top tower gets pressured. Nature's Prophet trying to slow things down as well as potentially initiate on bottom. Rotation coming from Vengeful. 3-on-3 action set to evolve here. If they can find one another. AA in a spot of trouble, spots out the potential gank now. Venge in charge, immediately snuffing out Ryan. Zebra in trouble, out of mana, glimpses back. The Morphling but it doesn't matter. And that's what I was talking about during the drafting phase is Fly kind of rounds. We'll keep an eye on what he does. Hasted, again, should pick off Zebra, but what I was discussing is the fact that although Zebra is able to glimpse, doesn't matter. Someone like Fly or Morphling can deal such an effective amount of damage so quickly. Adeptus Strike, you have Static Remnants coupled with, you know, overloads. So much damage put out against squishy heroes. They can die and you almost save them then if you glimpse them back. A little bit of a one-on-one happening between Carson and Morphling, and nothing will evolve of it. But Glimpse being a double-edged sword in this instance.
I do like top 5's draft. I feel like it was a very safe draft, but safe and effective. You just have such good combo with these heroes. You have AA with Vengeful Spirit. You can't possibly miss Vengeful Spirit Stun no matter how hard you try. It's very hard to do. You can misclick on a creep maybe, but that's almost a sure like 5-6 second lockdown between the AA and the Vengeful Spirit, and that's a lot of time for Morphling to deal damage. On top of that, you have a Doom, very point and click hero with the Doom available, but you do have to choose the right target, and he's done so well early on in this game. He's fired off Doom at almost every possibility, and he's gotten 2 kills out of it, so he's done a very good job. And then finally, last but not least, Storm Spirit, who is a playmaker. He makes things happen for his team. He can pick off heroes very effectively, and someone like a Lycus doesn't stand a chance against that. You can just hop on him. There it goes. A-ult is going to come on through, but I don't think he even needed it. I think Fly alone probably could have taken him out, but AA was there just to help secure that for sure.
Gold graph has updated, and it is upwards of 5,000, headed towards 7,500, about 6,500, I would say right now, to be fair, with a 4K experience advantage in favor both of top 5. Looking at the net worth, 5.7K on Morphling, the next closest 3.8K as Shanks is able to take down Ryan Noob again. Things not looking good early here for VA as they took game 1 by going late. They did not win the early game, and it took them about 30 minutes to turn the last one around. Lycus on the prowl right now, seeing if he can lock Shanks down, who's relatively farmed, has Arc Boots and a mech already. Storm Spirit, though, going to follow up on him, and another death coming to Luna early. Cannot spell anything further but trouble for VA, who is bleeding out. 0-4 on the carry, 2 for 2 on Scar, who is their mid, and trying to make things happen ineffectively, just completely unable to do so. Now, bot lane, Morphling challenged by Zebra. Zebra, though, not able to lock him down. The tower is going to go down. It's not going to get denied. Morphling gets another kill as a result, and Carson's in the vicinity. AA ult connecting, forcing off Nature's Prophet, and now Carson would be in a fair amount of trouble if he reveals himself. He's dealing a lot of damage to Morph. Morph now getting challenged. Can turn on Morph strength in a matter of moments here. Now, instead, tries to man fight as it looks like Carson, Scar is taken out again. Carson on the run. Charges up ultimate. Will he be able to take out this Morphling? He's going the wrong way, walking the epicenter away. Unfortunately, he has no idea where they are. Now Shanks is here to back it up, and Shanks and Morphling finally meet up, give each other a high five, and tag another kill in favor of top 5, who is up 10 kills over VA.
Oh, that's painful. It is really painful ever. Yeah, 15-5 is really brutal, especially when you look at the heroes that are getting these kills, and it's Morphling and Doom. And that's the scariest part, is that the kills are going to the correct heroes. And what can you do about this? Your Luna's already shut down, sitting at hero 4, a very hard hero to farm back into the game. Your Nature's Prophet is 3 and 4, has secured some kills, but as I say, that Fly is coming to the top lane to secure a kill on Luna. Might just get one right now. He's going to try and TP out here, but there's going to be enough damage. Fly secures 2 kills for himself. It's gotta be over. I don't know how VA can come back from this. It's been brutal.
They don't have enough carry elements. They were so all in on Lycus as a carry element, and they needed something out of Sand King. Carson, although he played a very solid game the last time around, I don't think he has not played necessarily a solid game here, but he's not going to get the chance to come to any sort of full circle as a dive on mid. Scar immediately doomed away. Disruptor trying to respond, should be able to get a kill on Fly here as a result, but look at Fly. As a result of Shanks popping mech, manages to live this long. Carson and company just kind of sitting back and admiring things, calling GG. There's nothing else they can do, so they recognize they need to go to a game 3 prove, and that is going to be it for this one. I have to take a look at the GMPM for Morphling. It had to be out of control.
14
it was well
minutes.
On its way.
Oh, yeah. Man.
well on its way to being like I would say almost 600 I was gonna say, but it's 525.
525, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, all of them at 500. All three carry elements, 500 GPM, 14 minutes in. They had to call GG. Nothing else they could do.
All right, guys, it's going to be a game 3. I think we're all pretty excited about that. 19-5 was the final score at 14 minutes, so very quick game. Let's see what